know, we've been pushing this one all week. This is going to be an awesome episode. We are live with Mr. Matt Downs from Trick Tins. So if you guys don't know about Matt and Trick Tins makes probably, there's no probably about it, the coolest, the best John boat, tin boat setups you can imagine. So we're really, really excited to have Matt on here with us tonight because he's going to share some awesome experiences with us and really give us the down low on kind of how he got started, what his process is for making some of these awesome builds, and then just go through the process from there. So Matt, thanks for joining us, man. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we are super excited to have you. So if you want, just give us like a little bit of an intro. Like what got you into building these awesome boats, and what got you started into like making this kind of your thing? Like what started you off into this path that you've chosen here?
For sure, man. So my name's Matt Downs. I've been a welder fabricator for 22 years, man. It's crazy to say that, but one thing different about me than like a lot of my friends that I went to school with is basically when I graduated high school at 18, I went right to my dad's shop in the family business, started learning how to weld, fabricating, dealing with customers, the day in, day out business life. And that's something that like a lot of normal people just don't do straight out of high school. Like,
no.
By the time that a lot of my friends went to college for 4 years, changed their degrees, ended up picking 3 different jobs to work for, I already had 10 years experience of doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. So that is something that kind of helped me out with the boat stuff, because about 10 years ago, I had already a decade of background in fabricating and stuff. And that's when I really got into boats, and I bought my first boat. And as a welder, I had an aluminum boat, and I was like, I'm going to do some modifications to this thing and trick it out. I had no idea how far down the rabbit hole I was going to go with it at that point. But I had a little 14-foot John boat that's picked up off of Craigslist for like $150, and I tricked that thing out. And the first time I took it out and rode around in it, I had a guy approach me and had questions about it. And later on that week, he ended up trading me that boat for a 20-foot striper sea swirl with a 150 outboard on it.
No way.
And then once he started using it and fishing like the local lakes and tournaments around me, it just blew up, man. I mean, everybody saw the quality of what I was doing, and it was my first build, but it led into like a humongous cluster of just, boat building, and it's been awesome, man. It's been a hell of a journey. The last 5 years have really been crazy. The last 3 years, it's been a whirlwind, man. It's been awesome, though.
I've been following you for a couple years now. I have one of your graph mounts on the front of my John boat, actually, and I absolutely love that thing. I get a lot of comments on it because it's got the bass cut out of the side of it. And
pretty sweet, man. I appreciate that. When you said that the other day, I was like, damn, I didn't even know you had that. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was like, you had just like released them, and as soon as you posted a picture, I was like, that's the one I want, because I was getting ready. I was doing a little build myself. I didn't do the front deck out of aluminum like I should have, but I was doing a little build myself, and I seen it, and I was like, I gotta have that. And I'm getting ready to rip that boat apart now and actually go to all aluminum. So this interview is I'm taking notes.
Way to do it, man.
Yeah. I'm taking
those
notes.
graph bridges are sweet, man. Those dual graph bridges. I put a lot of thought into that, and I'm actually making like a 2.0 version of it now that's going to be dropping very shortly. It's very similar. It's just got different logos, and it's got my Trick Tins logo like on the hat and stuff. And they're set up a little bit different. And something else I kind of ventured into lately is kayak world, man. I got a buddy of mine, Shan for Real, out in Georgia, and he was building John boats, and now he's all kayak fishing, and he's got a huge following of kayak guys. He's rigging them out for him. And I started building some dual graph bridges for the kayaks, and we're gonna be making some fish tapes and measuring boards and stuff like that. So that's something else I got coming up probably within the next couple months. I thought it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So, like, I guess the first question I have for you is, you do all these builds, and they're all freaking awesome, man. But like the industry, even a lot of the fiberglass boats, like me and Paul we have the conventional bass boat. Paul actually just got a brand new one, but like all these guys are going to the C deck. What are some of the advantages that you see to the C deck versus the carpet? I mean, is it how are a lot of these builds that you do now? Are they all asking for C deck, or is it still carpet?
I can even dig into this, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do carpet, man. It's a pain in the ass, and
Shit sucks.
It's messy, man. To the install, like, it's just the whole install of it is just, it's not my cup of tea. I've done it a couple times, man. And I hate using the glue. It don't matter what type of glue you use. You're gonna get that stuff all over you. I'm gonna get it all over that new carpet, and it's gonna look terrible when I get done with it. So I stick with the turf. I mean, I've got turf in 2 of my personal boats, and I like it. It's nice. The kids like it. It's easy to clean. You know, now, like this new build I'm working on, Project X, I got the turf, the boat scanned. So the turf is not only going to be like shipped to me in like sections, but it's all CNC cut out with like my logo on it, rulers on certain hatches. It's got a whole design. Once you put all the pieces in, you'll have like a bird's eye view design. This shit is crazy, man. I mean, the technology into it.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
really dope, you know?
That's cool. That's how the C deck, because you don't actually do C deck, right? You do hydro turf or whatever it's called.
I do it all.
Yeah.
That's what we're using for the CNC cut turf is C deck. It's going to be like a triple stack, and the deeper they cut into it, the different colors get revealed, and they do some cool stuff with that, man. They got like a process called like ghosting, where they can take like a gray turf and kind of ghost it, and it looks like it's black. They just kind of hit it with the router bit, and it's nuts, man. I mean, it's like an HD turf is what they call it too, and it's kind of new to me. I haven't used it yet, but it's definitely sick, man. But I mainly deal with Orthodeck, HydroTurf, and C-Deck. Those are the 3 brands that I like. HydroTurf's cool because it's got a lot of different colors. Orthodeck has some even crazier colors, and I'm that guy that's outside the box. You know, I like the stuff that normal people don't use, and that's the stuff people will remember too. So I kind of like to do stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, all the turf is pretty similar, man. But I wouldn't definitely recommend you go with a brand name if you're gonna put in your boat, because there's a big difference between the stuff you can buy off of Amazon and then the brand name stuff. Just like with anything, you know.
Is there actually a big difference in HydroTurf and C-Deck? I've had both, and it all kind of feels the same, but working with it a lot, like what do you notice differences in it?
No, not really. I mean, the only advantage to using like a HydroTurf, I think, is the sheet sizes are bigger and they got more of a variety of colors.
Okay.
But when you're going with like the CNC cut turf, that the one I'm going to be using for that is C-Deck, and they just stack the colors and cut it out like that. But the C-Deck runs in like 40 by 80, and then the HydroTurf sheets are like 48 by 87 or something, so they're a little bit bigger. But other than that, I mean, like quality, I can't really tell much difference in any of them, man. To be honest with you, they're very similar.
Interesting. I have definitely always wondered that.
Yeah, I wondered that too.
I did whatever. It was like the Amazon brand stuff.
He got it from Temu. He's like,
it was not on Temu.
You gotta get that Temu hydro turf.
Temu crap, bro. No Temu stuff. I put that on the John boat, and actually, man, I put it down on straight plywood, like on the front, and then the back was aluminum. I did all aluminum on the back, which was good. But that stuff.
I've heard of people using that stuff, man. I mean, I've never really had much experience with it. And I definitely never put it on wood, but I've heard of people doing that too. So
yeah, I don't recommend doing it. I'm not saying I recommend it, but it worked for a couple years.
I would love to see how bad Matt would have cringed when I did my John boat build, which was,
oh my god,
I literally built the. So
dude, he's got like a pallet that like sits inside this thing.
He didn't use HydroTurf. He used AstroTurf. Like it's straight.
It's not that far off.
It's straight green carpet.
I built like a basically like Chad said, a pallet out of 2x2. And slapped it on there, put some plywood on top of it, and went out and got like the stuff you get at Home Depot, like the outdoor golf turf. And I just took a staple gun and just
like
stapled it to the front.
Where you walk the dog on?
You pretty much. I just stapled it to the
you
front.
put down at your campsite.
Yes. It's still together. I swear to, it's still together.
Dude,
you know what I duck hunt out of the thing. I mean, it works.
I seen a guy had a YouTube video and he was building aluminum hatches, and to save money, he used highway signs.
Dude, that's the worst, man.
That's
like
a good
when you open the
idea,
hatch.
though. Hold up.
When you open the hatch, you could see it. It was like, you know, green with like exit, whatever.
Yeah, I've
think
definitely
about
seen
it.
that, man.
I think it's
A lot
illegal,
of
but
guys
you
use
definitely could
whatever
save
they
some
get
money
their
there.
hands
Oh, it's.
on. I
I
guess
mean
it's better
that.
than using a bunch of heavy plywood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
100%. That 1/8 aluminum is a lot cheaper if you run over street signs than buying it at the store.
Well, my tracker, it has wood decks, and you know, that it came with, and when they get wet, man, like it soaks in the water. It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
I gotta redo mine.
I welded
It's no good.
I welded a stop sign into the spare tire well with my 240.
Right, yeah.
To fix it.
I would save money. Yeah.
So, I got it. One of the things
my
I
experience
noticed
with that.
about some of your builds and some of the videos and stuff that I watch, when I did a little bit of my stuff, I used why am I brain farting? Not channel. I used angle.
Angle.
I used some 16th. I think it was 1/16
That's
inch
thin.
and a half by 1.5 by inch and a half angle, and I did some riveting.
It's probably like 1/8.
But I noticed you use a lot of like C channel. It looks
It's
like
actually rectangular tubing.
rectangular
I use,
tubing.
I mean, all of the hatches, I build custom hatches and ship them all over the world, man. I've shipped hatches to Guyana and Africa and Canada and Germany. It's crazy, but the hatches have an 1.5 inch flange around them. So naturally, having an 1.5 inch flange on two hatches meeting together, that's 3 inches. So it just makes sense for me to use a 3x1 rectangular tube, because then the hatches meet up with each other, and I don't have to have extra sheeting up on the deck. So majority of
That
the
makes sense.
framework that I do is a 1x3 by 1/16 tubing. It's super lightweight. I mean, most of the decks that are in the builds that I do, I mean, they're coming in at like less than 20 pounds for the 14-foot boats. I just did a deck in a Tracker 2072, and the whole entire front deck was 9 foot by 7 foot, and it was like 36 pounds for the entire deck frame.
Holy
That's
I
smokes.
think I saw
absolutely
that video.
insane.
Is that the
Like-
one where you had it out in like the driveway and you wait?
put it
Yeah,
on,
I watched that
on the
video.
Scale outside. It was, I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but it was like 36, 38 pounds, something like that, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We have a comment that says I like
I got one piece of
SB's
wood
build.
that weighs that much on just one piece of my wood on my boat. It's like 30 pounds.
I
Yeah,
have,
that-
I have more plastics in my boat than
Whatever.
that
Well,
front
you
desk
you're
would.
fiberglass.
Yeah, for real. Paul has more tackle and weight in his
no,
boat
I mean
than that
it's
deck.
just plastic tackle.
You also have like a vinyl wrap connection, right? Like a shop down the street from your shop that does the wraps for you.
Yep.
Because we got a
Yeah,
guy.
and it's pretty deep too, man.
Wants to
I
get a
got
boat wrap.
I mean, I make all types of connections, but I got a painter, and I got a couple of connects with the wrap companies. So those are sick, man. I mean, the
Huh.
big builds I do, they gotta have a wrap on them. They gotta have
The wraps
you know,
are
the
so
full
sick.
9 yards, the whole 9 yards.
What's
on
the
them.
price to get like just like a ballpark figure?
For a John
For a
boat.
wrap?
Yeah.
For like a 16-foot custom wrap on like a John boat. Like, what's a ballpark on that?
You'd be surprised, man. I mean, retail, probably like $1,200.
Oh well,
That's not
cheaper
terrible.
than I thought.
That's
it would
better
be.
than I thought it
that's
would be.
kind of better than I thought it
It's
was.
a whole lot cheaper than a bass boat.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Yeah, I
like
think
$3,000
I don't know. With the
or
bass boats, yeah, they're looking at like $3,000, 35. I thought.
3,200 for
I
my
just
buddy's
got
21.
my, I built a Stratos, 19-foot Stratos for my wife and kids, and to use at Lake Gaston. I got that thing wrapped, and it was $2,000. They wrapped the whole thing. So.
No way.
Shoot,
Did it have
$2,000, that's a good price.
custom logos and everything, or just like a flat color or a flat pattern?
No, that thing's fucking sick.
it's all tricked
Dude.
out, bro. Come on, bro.
Oh man.
He's trick tins, bro. He's gonna have a tricked out wrap.
It's dope, man. It's got all kinds of stuff on it.
So it's great that you say that, because so I just bought an old Bullet. It's been neglected. I'm working on fixing it up, but like the top cap is so far gone, like the wet sanding is not going to happen. So I'm looking at a wrap right now, and I'm thinking about doing a custom wrap for the podcast. And I've been quoted like $4,000, and like that's like I get it. Like the price is worth it, but that's still $4,000. I mean, and
It's almost as much as you paid for the boat.
It is almost as much as I paid for the boat.
Somebody on YouTube said that Matt's volume is low and ours is loud. Also, gotta say what's up. Oh, you took the comments down, Chad. Let me see who was Miles, Adam.
Miles Adam was on there.
Maria, my wife Maria. I saw her on there. What up, y'all? Ask some questions when you get a chance. So, can you fix that issue that they're?
I think it just.
I turned his volume up some.
Okay. Yeah, so we were blasting. The Matt was low. Dan,
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
not
house.
the smartest with figuring out all this technology stuff.
Oh, you're good, man. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we screw it up every single Friday.
every
every
week. I don't think we've ever had an episode that like went 100% smooth.
No way.
no,
not
never.
a single one.
When I'm not here, my wife is like, "Did they start the show yet?" And I'm like, "No, Chad's probably still trying to figure out how to get started."
Right.
He'll be on in a minute.
Everybody knows that we have like an 8-minute curve.
Miles said he likes SB's build. So I guess you built
SB
a boat.
Fishing's build.
That's funny that you mentioned that because King Neptune is like that was like my build, man. That's kind of the one that changed everything. Like,
That's like
I mean,
the build.
It's blue. Yeah, I've seen that boat.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all now that boat is for sale. It will be for sale within the next couple of weeks. And
Don't look at me.
I gotta sell it. I'm moving into a new house, and that's my boat. I built it and let him use it for publicity reasons, and it's done its job. The thing's a workhorse, man. And now it's time to move on. SB is gonna be getting a new rig soon, but that boat's gonna be for sale. But that boat was kind of like, I don't know if y'all watched those videos on his channel, but that was where I had talked to him, and I was trying to start my own channel. I was like, I got to get somebody that already is established, to kind of get my foot in the door and help me. So I built that boat with him with the intentions of letting him use it, as long as I could for publicity. And I wanted it to be all out. So that thing is sick, man. I put like 400 hours into that build.
Wow.
And I got about 35 grand into that thing, including all my labor with everything into it. It's a 15-foot boat, so.
That's crazy.
I mean, that thing is absolutely ridiculous. The rod lockers, everything in that boat is ridiculous.
So
I can't remember how many times I've watched the video.
Did you see the jet boat he did? The jet boat was badass.
He brought up a good
You're
question.
asking about the wrap on my Stratos. Check this thing out.
Dude.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Man.
yeah, that's tight.
And he's got a fict on it. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Pumping the old Evinrude, man. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm one of the only guys around our area that runs Evinrude too, so I feel that.
Evinrude, but it was 1992 when I had it.
Right.
So you mentioned
Neptune is gonna be for sale, man. Somebody's gonna get a sweet boat.
Oh, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Well, you built a boat for Rob Turkler as well, correct? We talked about this yesterday, man.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was probably like the craziest build I've ever done. Rob Turkler is a cool dude. He is rich as God, and he does whatever he wants. And he called me. We've been talking for like a year. He saw the SB build on SB's Instagram channel. He showed some pictures of it and stuff. And then he started following me like right after he got that the King Neptune build. And we talked for like a year. And then back and forth. The dude lives in Texas. I'm in Virginia Beach, right, on the East Coast. So it's not like we're just gonna go meet down the street and network. But about a year later, he just was like, "Hey, I'm building a boat. I want you to come do it. What's it gonna take?" And I gave him a number, and he booked me a flight that day. I left in like 2 days, and I was staying at his house for 6 days, and I redid the entire 17.5-foot Alumacraft in his garage with no tools and like 100-degree plus heat in Texas in August.
Wait, so like you didn't have a welder, like no materials or anything down there?
I shipped what I could. I literally left like 3 days after I talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, you're coming. Here's your plane ticket." And I just worked like the next 2-3 days at the shop building as much as I could and shipped it to Texas to his house. And it got there like the day after I got there. And I did what I could. I rented a welder while I was there. And I'm glad I did because the boaty guy had like cracks underneath of it in the hull. It was some
snap.
piece of crap Craigslist boat. And we made magic happen with that thing, man. That thing is sweet. It's actually, I thought for sure he's gonna like give it away or sell it or something, but he put it in the main Guggen's headquarters warehouse in their storefront as a display piece. It still looks
nice.
brand new. It's sitting right in the main showroom, surrounded by bait and tackle and all their clothing and accessories. So it's just like a showpiece. He just turns the lights on it, and it's dope, man. I'm so glad that he did that and didn't just get rid of that thing, because I put a lot. I probably worked, God, I don't even know. It was at least 100+ hours in 6 days on that thing, man. Like all I did was sleep and get up and work until I couldn't take it anymore.
Do you have a lot of trouble finding people for builds, or is it is it hard getting work, or is it you stay busy?
For me?
Yeah, or do people hit you up all the time, like it doesn't stop?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I could literally, dude, I could not talk to another person new and work for the next 5 years if I wanted to.
Wow, that's
I gotta
awesome.
pick and choose what builds I do and when I do them, because I'm just one person.
Right.
And, I mean, I have a shop with a couple of employees, but you know, our shop is Professional Welding Services in Norfolk, and we've been around for 50 years or something almost now. And we have a decent amount of other stuff that we do. So I'm kind of in the transition mode still from the day-to-day jobs and then doing all these hatches and then building all these boats. So it's a lot, man. I mean,
So
I talk to 90% of the customers that walk in the door or call, and that takes up time, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of time, you're talking about like you spent 6 days in Texas building that. How many hours do you put into the average build on like a regular
Great question.
14, 15 foot John?
When you're not building it for Rob Turkula and you're building it
Right,
for
you're
like
not
normal
going
people.
just an average build, not like the all out build, but just
Hey, everybody.
like an average build.
Definitely let your questions flow. Put them up in the comments. We're gonna try to get as many questions answered as possible. So
I think-
send them in.
I think Matt has a giveaway for the best comment or question tonight.
I do.
too,
I'm
so.
gonna have to hop on the Facebook group because there ain't no chats in this YouTube thing that I see.
There's a little bit going on Facebook right
Yeah,
now.
we had-
we don't have
starting
a-
to pick up.
we don't
We
have
had
a
one. We had
YouTube.
one chat on the YouTube comment,
And that was just that we're too loud.
and that was that we were loud.
But we do appreciate you watching.
Yeah, so like, I mean, a build, like, there's different stages of builds, obviously. I mean, like, I got my one big build I do a year, like this Project X build that I'm doing. I usually start that at the end of the year and try to finish it up right before tournament season. I mean, something like that, that's like a Neptune. Like this boat I'm doing is better than Neptune in every aspect of it. It's going to be sick, but I'm probably going to end up with something similar to 300+ hours into that build. A normal, just like, you know, regular build, maybe in the $6,000 to $8,000 range, you might be looking at like a couple hundred hours.
Wow.
Maybe a little less than that. I mean, you got to think that, you know, if you put 100 hours into it and, you know, you charge $50 an hour or something, you got, you know, $5,000 worth of work going into a boat. So
Yeah,
it's not cheap, man.
It's it's crazy how many hours. Like you see these builds and you look at them and you realize like it's good quality, but it's kind of amazing to me like how many actual hours go into it, and you know, with the quality and craftsmanship of the work that you do.
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean,
the
you
other
can
thing,
definitely
though,
see
like,
it. You can definitely see that the hours were spent to make it done right.
Anybody can go freaking nail some shit together, or even pop rivet some aluminum stuff together, whatever you want to do. But to take and do what Matt does and do the welding, everything is TIG welded. That is, first off, you want to talk about TIG welding? That is a art all in its own. I mean, period. I can stick weld, I can MIG weld, I have certs for that, but dude, I don't pick up a TIG welder. I don't have it. It's not in me.
There's the best comment right there. It said wood and pool noodles.
That's funny.
Wood and pool noodles.
Wooden pool noodles.
Like,
What's up, Lloyd?
Apparently, all you need is a highway sign and a skid. We have learned.
Yeah,
tonight.
right. Exactly.
just a pallet and some AstroTurf.
I've seen, Matt, you sell like channel for like building hatches so you can do it yourself at home too, don't you? I think I've seen that. It's like already bent. and made for.
Yeah, for
them.
sure. That's the hatch track section.
Yeah, the
We
hatch
just had to
track.
build all the hatches out of. But yeah, I had to get an extrusion made for that, and so I get that shipped in 20-foot pieces, and that's what I use to build all of them for. I sell that too. It's like $5.50 a foot, plus shipping. But I actually sell a lot of that, and it's cool to have that because not only did I need it, but there's a lot of people out there that are capable of doing the same thing that I'm doing, and they want to do it themselves. And having that extruded is just simple because I just put it in a box and ship it. It's not like I got to do anything.
Yeah,
with
that's
it, you know?
fantastic.
Yeah, I was
So I
thinking
like
about buying
being able to
some.
offer that.
I was thinking about buying some because Mama was telling you yesterday that I need a hatch. I got a hatch that leaks that I'm either gonna have you build a hatch or I'm gonna get some of that and do it myself. But if you don't weld it, like how you can't put that stuff together, you gotta weld it together, right? After you cut the 45s on it.
I mean, yeah, you should. I mean, I've seen guys put them together and just rivet them in.
Use some caulk
around the sides, and it's all right, but it's probably gonna leak, you know.
Yeah. So would it be so? Could you weld up just a frame, like for a hatch? Like that would probably be the cheapest way for me to do it, right? Give you the dimensions, and would you do something like that? Like weld just the, and I could put a hatch on it later and all that, but just how cut the 45s and weld it all together and ship it like that? Is that a thing? Do you do stuff like that?
I've done it before. Yeah, I mean, I can do it that way. I mean, I'll hook you up with a hatch. You know that if you need a hatch, man.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk about that off the air.
So,
but I definitely need a hatch.
I know you really focus on the John boats. That's something that like I've just kind of got into with hanging out with these guys. I've always been into bass boats.
Me and Rob are the John boat guys.
Do you have any interest or any items going into like the regular bass boat world? Like I know you that mount that Chad has is awesome.
Yeah.
And like anything like that you have like going into the bass boat world just to make it like just to open up like a new customer base.
His dual mounts.
For sure, man.
He does a lot of rigging, electronic rigging too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that I do that. I work on a lot of different boats, man. I mean, the reason that I just specialize in the John boats is because where we live, there's a huge tournament, bass tournaments for John boats are out here, and they got to have a 16-foot boat or less. They got to have a 9.9 or less. Everybody's running the
That's pretty cool.
9.9s with the upgraded 20 horsepower ECUs in them, but regardless, they just have 9.9s and small John boats. And these fishing tournaments, I mean, they're huge, man. I mean, I guarantee you, there's probably 500 members spread without all the clubs just in my local area, and all these guys man, they fish every weekend. Like, you know how if you guys fish tournaments, I'm not a big tournament fisher, but it's deliver die, man, and that's all they do. And a lot of them are older and they got money. A lot of them have full-size bass boats and they fish the big tournaments, and a lot of them just don't want to fish the big tournaments because it's too much work. They're getting older, and taking the big boat out and driving 90 miles an hour to hang out and get to the spots is just something that they don't want to do. And they could win enough money to pay their mortgage payment fishing these smaller tournaments. I mean, some of them are having 50 boat turnouts. First place is like $2,500, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started building all these John boats, just because the clientele for those in my area is humongous. Now, personally, I built Neptune. I fished out of it one time since I've had it. I wouldn't even use it if I had it. That's why I let SB pretty much have that boat for the last 3 years. I've got a Tracker PT 190, and I got that thing. I stole that thing a couple years back, and I use that to fish around the river. And then I got that Stratos we use at Lake Gaston. But as far as like the bass boats go, I mean, I got accessories and stuff for them. I do a lot of rigging. People bring me, 15, 20 grand worth of electronics between grass and live scopes and trolling motors. And I do a lot of custom brackets and battery trays and just stuff to hook up into like newer bass boats and stuff. But there's another avenue that I'm kind of going with some of these bass boats now. There's a couple of guys that are doing this, but since the price for boats is so expensive right now, a lot of guys are willing to put more money into their older boat and make it look like a new boat. So that's something that I'm going to start offering services for. It's like a lot of guys that have these old Rangers or
Tony.
any type of bass boat for that matter. We build new lids for them because the lids that are in there are most of them are aluminum, but they're made for carpet, so they have gaps for the carpet to wrap around. We're going to build new lids that will fit tight, and then we're going to get the boat scanned, and we're going to put CNC cut turf in them. And
That's awesome.
that will basically make that boat look like a brand new boat.
Yeah, for sure.
Wax
That's
it,
what you need to do
polish
with
it.
the bullet.
You're
you
gonna
need
do
to
a
do it
custom.
right.
You're gonna do a custom wrap, and you're gonna do freaking turf all the way through it.
Dude,
Sea deck all the way
I'm
through the
telling you.
bullet.
You might as well just drive it on down to Virginia Beach.
Talk
now,
me
Tony.
into it. Just talk me into
Bass
it.
and Beer
Just talk
Radio.
talk me into it.
Bass and Beer Radio Trick 10's Ardent Wrap.
Dan had a
Virginia Beach ain't that far away.
Dude,
No,
Virginia
it is
Beach
not
is a
too
cool
far
place,
away.
man. So I was down there. So I don't know. I'm sure Rob didn't tell you, but I'm full-time military. So I'm in Maryland National Guard, but I'm full-time. So I've kind of been all over the place. But in 2021, I went down to Virginia Beach.
Norfolk, probably to the naval base.
So not quite. It was Oceanic Airfield or whatever down that way.
Yeah.
And we drove over the North River like 5 times. And every time I drove over the North Landing River, I was like, dude, I have got to fish this place. Like, it looks so freaking awesome to me. And I never got to fish it. But I have a number of friends of mine live in Virginia Beach, and they rave about places like the North River, Gaston, all these lakes that are really, really good. But I was planning on getting back down there to fish, but I never did.
I'll tell you something about Virginia Beach with my skateboarding background. They have a
here we go.
park. It was a dump, and now it's called Mount Trashmore, and it's like a skate park. They got like a vert ramp. I don't know if they still have that. It's been like years since I was a skater, but yeah, Mount Trashmore. It used to be a dump, a landfill, and now it's a skate park.
Is it still a dump?
No.
Radical doing it.
No, it's like a nice park
They
now.
actually have Mount Trashmore 2 now.
Oh, they got Mount Trashmore too now. That's what I'm
man.
sorry.
You need to
about.
go down there, Rob.
Wait, so hold on.
I've been to Mount Trashmore.
Not
I've been
Mount
on that
Trashmore
boat.
2.
We
No,
are
I
not.
haven't been to 2.
We are not going totally off on a rant here, but aren't they about to do swamp games for the X Games?
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, they're about to do the swamp games right now. They
That's
like
what- it's
they like
bad for-
skateboard through a swamp. It's ridiculous.
No,
but
it's not ridiculous. That is awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Hey,
So-
Dan had a really good question. We should ask Dan's
Yeah,
question
for
real
sure.
quick
Yeah.
before I
What is
forget.
Dan's question? What is the worst quality boat that you turned around to a quality fishing rig?
Man, that's tough. I mean, personally, if any of you guys know me or follow my channel, I hate riveted boats, man. I'm a welder. I like welded boats. I don't even want to build riveted boats. I've done a few.
Can you
I mean,
weld
as far
all of
as,
my
like-
rivets?
Yeah, that can't happen.
He said it can't happen.
I guess, like, honestly, like the Yin Tin, like that thing was a toy. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Fisher
Yin
Yin,
Tin.
I built that boat for him, and he won that boat from Ketchco and Guggen Squad giveaway like 2 years before that. But yeah, it was a low 13 or 1436. And the whole boat was like 130 pounds. I mean, you can pick it up and throw it. But I mean, I made that thing into a masterpiece. It is the finest 1436 probably in the entire world.
That's
Turned out
awesome.
sick.
I literally said that in every description. I was like, this guy makes the best John boats probably in the world.
You see, if you watch his videos, man, it's like it ain't hard to tell. You see Matt in there with like legs hanging out the side.
Dude,
of
you
the boat,
watch
he's
I
welding
mean, we
up
watch a
there.
lot of like professional fishing stuff, and like, dude, the next best thing you see to like his aluminum boat rigs is like Keith Poche's like Gator Tracks boat or whatever. Like, it's not
Yeah,
even.
Keith O'Shea has a gator track.
That's what I mean, but
Yeah,
it's
but-
like it's not even in the same realm of
Yeah,
what
but
we're talking
you're
about.
looking at
here.
like
Matt could hook a gator tracks up. You
Keith
get a gator
Poche-
Oh,
track,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Matt
But
could
Keith
hook
Poche's
that
Gator
up.
tracks cost like
Here's the
70 grand.
Yeah, his is a bad example. Look, there you go.
Which one's this one?
That's the Yin Tin.
That's the Yin
That's
Tin?
the worst boat. Hey, Dan, he'll sell it to you, dude.
That thing looks like it's,
Dan's
That was
working on the
pretty
boat.
cool. That was a fun project.
Dan said
That
that.
dude Fisher Yin he's blowing up, man. I mean, I met that dude. I built that boat for him last year, and he had 20,000 YouTube subscribers. Now he's got 165,000.
Damn.
Holy
He's
smokes.
got like
That's crazy.
600,000 followers on TikTok. It's insane, dude.
Who
He's
is
got a
it?
deal with Angler's Choice, just like SB. He's getting a boat. He's getting a full-size bass boat now.
Damn.
21
That's
years
impressive.
old. He's making bank, dude.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's
he makes
awesome.
more than I make working my ass off making
Yeah.
YouTube videos at
Here
21.
I am doing HVAC for people,
Right.
making sure they're comfortable.
I'm a maintenance man. I had to go
Yeah.
snake a toilet the other night. So some chick dropped her deodorant stick down. I'm freaking.
I make that long trip into the office every day. You know, I walk from my bedroom to my kitchen and sit down in front of my computer.
What's up? And then like texts us pictures of his boat all day.
Right.
This guy I think I should put talent.
Like, Paul, what
Should I
are
go
you
with
doing? He's
Raptors?
like, I'm just looking out the window right now.
Right.
I'm usually out working on the boat, doing something.
Dan
Hopefully
said,
not so much with the new boat.
Ever do any? What is that? Microcraft?
Mirrorcraft.
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 I haven't really seen a Mirrorcraft.
I think
I haven't
I've heard
seen
of them.
I haven't seen one in a very long time.
You know, I gotta say, going back to your whole, we don't like riveted boats. I have a 1994 low 1648, and she bad. I mean, I hit everything and everything with that thing, and I have only had to fix 2 rivets on it and put some of the Marine 5200 on it.
Are you
She
defending
is
the rivets
solid.
Yeah.
Hold up, I will defend my grandfather's boat with my life.
Dude, I've like been spots where you shouldn't go and seen you like going by because you got like the tiller handle.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like always standing back there, and I was like, "Where the hell is Chad going?" And you're it's like 6 inches of water there. Chad just full
I have watched
into it.
I have watched Chad come running by while I'm fishing, just smoke a log and
He
just
usually
keep on going.
he's usually got like a beer in his hand. And he's like,
Just smoking logs all the way up the river.
like me and Evan
Hey,
was,
Paul.
me and Evan was fishing like one of the spots, and Chad just went by us, dude. I'm serious, like full throttle with the beer. And, you know, he has like the American flag shorts and like no shirt on. And he's like, ah! It's like no water there at all, dude. Mud's flying everywhere, and it's not a mud boat.
You already know I catch fish though.
Yeah, that tide go out enough, you ain't never getting back out of there, dude.
We pay attention to that sometimes.
You gotta pay attention to that tide. You're going where you were at.
You ever do you work on it? Do you do any tunnel haul builds?
I haven't actually built one from scratch. I did do a just like a modification. I built a floor and a center console for I think it was an aluminum weld or something.
Okay.
But it was pretty sweet. It was like a 20-foot boat, and it had a big tunnel hull in the back of it. I do want to get more into that, man. I mean, my whole goal originally when I started working on boats was that I wanted to do the towers, like tuna towers and stuff, because I'm more of a saltwater fishing guy, and I thought that's where I was going to go with it. And then this whole tiny boat thing started taking off with these, John boats, and that's kind of where I want to go with it. But I really want to build my own my own boats, my own hulls, man. That's what it's about. Like, I want to have my own brand of boats, a professional welding boat that, like 3 different brands, 3 different sizes, maybe like a 1660, a 1448, and like an 18 or something foot, 1860 or something like that.
Let me tell you something, my brother. You will 110% outstamp anything aluminum that Ranger has on the market right now.
Oh, right.
Anything.
I just got Phoebe's
Chad-
comment.
Oh, I know.
It took me a
Chad
minute.
hates his Ranger.
It took me a minute to get Phoebe's comment, but I think it was when we were talking about the way you take off in that boat. She was like, usually he says, hold on, then we're off.
So,
Hold on a second.
so Matt, if you had to pick, so you've worked on countless amounts of aluminum boats. If you had to pick one brand that has the best built aluminum boat out there, what brand would that be and why?
It's not Ranger. I put everything on it.
No. Yeah, I've repaired a lot of Rangers. They get a lot of keel cracks in them.
Fuck.
I mean, it's tough to say, man. If you're talking about like a John boat type deal, I think honestly, All Weld has a really nice boat. I mean, they're a little bit more pricey. I build the Weld builds a lot of times because they're like the lightest and they're welded, obviously. I like the look of them. They're aggressive. The only thing I don't like is the top gunnel caps or pipes. And That's one thing I've done. Like with Neptune, I changed the top gunnel cap out. I'm doing that with Project X right now. But I'd say all weld is really nice if you're looking for like a cheaper John boat. I mean, if you really want to get into like a full size, aluminum rig, Express makes a nice hull.
Yeah.
They got some boats that have like 250s on them, center consoles, and those things are badass. And there's War Eagle makes a good boat.
Oh yeah.
There's so many of them, man. There's guys like building custom boats on J's, and I mean, there's literally probably 24 guys that are making super nice custom boats that are just really dope.
Right. So I'm not
jet
gonna.
boats are fun too.
I'm not gonna defend Ranger aluminum because I don't own one and I don't know. But like
Johnny Morris aluminum.
So like I know that a lot of people, they buy these, whether it's Ranger, Triton, or whatever, they buy these 19-foot aluminum boats, and it's like, okay, I have a full size bass boat. Let me just go beat the ever loving shit out of it on Potomac River, Kentucky Lake, Great Lakes, and break it. I mean, in my opinion,
it's not built for it.
Those boats aren't built for that.
It's not built for it.
Like, do you think a lot of the issues with a lot of those big brand aluminum boats are user error, or it's just because they're cranking out 1,000 of them a year and they're just not all that great?
So is it the fact that it's a mass produced hull, or is it actually like, is aluminum strong enough to handle the beating, or is it the fact that they're mass produced and it's not made well?
I think it has a little bit to do with both. I mean, the mass produced really kills things because the amount of quality that goes into it, it's just gone. I mean, the employees are doing the same thing. They're on an assembly line, and they don't give a damn about that boat. They just want to get paid and go home, and they're going to weld it, be done with it and get on to the next 500 that's in line behind that one. So I think that kills it. And I think that the design has something to do with it too. Like, some of the boats just have bad designs, man. I mean, the Tracker Grizzlies, I've repaired countless amounts of Tracker Grizzlies. It's more so with the bigger ones because they come with bigger motors. They hit bigger waters. They have, they just take more abuse. But a lot of the way that those Tracker Grizzlies are designed, they don't have side ribs that come up the sides of the hull. They only have floor ribs. And once those things start cracking, one crack puts stress somewhere else and leads to another crack. I just built a 2072, and that thing had like almost 40 cracked welds in the actual hull itself of just the boat. But Ranger, the design that they have of their RT 18 or whatever it is,
19.8 or 18.8.
Yeah, 188. Yeah, I've repaired one of those for Kevin Gunn, another YouTube guy that's local out here. He's got one. It's just a sick boat. It looks beautiful. I mean, it rides nice when you're in it, but the design of the way it comes down to the keel and is welded in the front, it takes too much abuse. And I've repaired it twice for him, and I'm sure I'll repair it again. I've repaired, probably a handful, at least 5 or 6, same exact models, 18 and 19-foot Rangers. I mean, I have a Tracker PT 190 with a 90 horsepower outboard on it. It's got the revolutionary welded hull from Tracker. That's probably hands down the best hull I have ever seen from any aluminum, boat that's in that category and that price range. And I love that boat, man. I mean, it's sick. I put that thing through hell, and I've never had an issue with it at all. It's fast. It's like driving a Cadillac when you're
one
on
of our
plane.
one of our friends. He has a Tracker Grizzly, and he said he has seen the welds under the deck, and it looks like it was done by Stevie Wonder.
That's what I was reading and laughing. Tom Overs. He says,
I don't doubt it, man.
I've seen the Stevie Wonder welds under the deck.
Stevie Wonder.
So we have another guy that we know locally, and he's got a 18-foot G3 with 115, and he's had multiple welds break on that G3 from running with rough water around here. Because I mean,
G3 makes a pretty good boat too. I mean, I've never seen a big one like that. I've seen a lot of the smaller ones, but
your boat.
He's busted 2 welds on it.
So
one fixed, and the one lake that we have here that we fish, one of our smallmouth lakes, is it gets the water gets big. If it's a north wind,
and it gets big fast.
It blows straight down the river, and it gets. It gets 2 to 3 footers.
Easily, no problem.
and he's busted 2 welds on a G3. So it kind of went back to Chad's question about just aluminum just holding up to like running rough water. It just seems like it doesn't matter what kind of aluminum boat you have. It's just like if you put it in rough water, it's gonna something's gonna break.
Now, to be fair, and I don't want to steal Matt's thunder here, but we're not really talking.
Not my grandpappy's riveted low.
But to be fair, we're not really talking John boats at this point. Like we're talking aluminum bass boats, like 17 foot and bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like serious weights, like 2 to 4 foot rollers or more.
Well, yeah, and we're
You
not
know what I
running
mean? Like-
John boats in that kind of water.
No, but I'm here to tell you
No,
right now
no,
that
dude.
running my Ranger in 2 footers is not comfortable, and it makes me want to slow down because I'm telling you, I run it and I'm like, every time I hit a wave, I'm like, break, break, break. Like something's gonna crack every time I hit something. It doesn't even feel good.
I don't go nowhere on my boat.
The worst part is
around
you
any
probably
kind of
haven't even seen
2-footers.
true 2-footers in it.
Exactly.
Because true 2-footers are like true 2-foot waves are rough in a fiberglass bass boat.
Yeah.
Definitely not going
Oh, yeah,
around
for
any
sure.
of that in my boat.
Even my
I
champion.
think that
but,
aluminum
you know,
boats are kind of like the future, though, man. You see a lot of these, even professional bass fishermen that are going for the aluminum hull. I mean, they're lighter,
That X21
they're
hull.
more
getting-
durable,
Getting in shallower water.
supposedly more durable. But I think it has a lot to do with the design, man. It's a lot of design. It just comes down to the design of how they put it together. But I mean, you put a 150, 200 horsepower outboard on an aluminum boat. I mean, that's a lot of torque. You know, a lot of speed, a lot of banging and beating up. It's going to take. So it's going to take some of these companies really stepping their game up and getting a really good design as far as the framework and stuff goes, before these issues go away with the cracks and stuff like that. But I think it's coming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
mean,
I will say that
I don't think it is.
as far as running rough water, a friend of mine before he got his Phoenix had it was a Tracker TZX 19 with a 150. That was the best riding aluminum boat I've ever been in. I mean,
that's the revolutionary welded hull that I was talking about, and I love that. That hull, it's really dope, man. I mean, the layout of it, the way it's built, like the bottom of the boat, it's super nice. It's like riding in a Cadillac. It's like you're just floating. But
Yeah,
it doesn't handle big waves too bad.
Yeah, we were me and him were fishing a tournament. My boat we usually fish out of my boat, but my boat was down, so we took his boat, and we're running back to weigh in, and it's big, and we were blowing by 20-foot bass boats in that boat, and I never got beat up that entire ride. It was amazing how well it handled for aluminum. I've been in a lot of aluminum boats, and I've gotten beat up on the Potomac in aluminum boats, but I was really impressed with the ride quality on that.
I have kind of a random question taking us to a different area here. Have you ever reinforced the transom on a smaller boat so that it could hold a larger motor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of boats like these smaller 1436s and stuff that they're not even really made to have outboards on, in my opinion. But I've done a lot of reinforcements for those guys so they can run even just regular motors on them. But I have definitely beefed up some transoms for customers for, if they want to put a 40 on there, it's rated for a 25, or they want to put a 50 on there. And I mean, it can definitely happen, man. Those well builts are rated for pretty high motor capacities. Like the one that I have now, I'm building the 16-foot boat. It's rated for a 40 with a tiller, 60 at the console. And these guys out in the bayous, they're running 90s, 90 Yamaha 2-strokes, only 1452s and stuff like that.
Dude,
and they're flying.
That is probably so fast.
Yeah,
They're just race boats. I mean,
Probably
that's all
running
they do out
50,
there,
60
just race
miles an hour in a 14-foot boat.
Mine's 16 foot
All
with
day.
a 40 horsepower.
So what's that giant? Just start kind of off topic. That giant swamp down by where you are in Virginia Beach, because I've
Dismal
been.
Swamp?
Yes, is there fish in the Dismal Swamp?
The Dismal
I don't know,
Swamp
man. I
is
ain't going
called.
out there.
So all right.
Is it by Mount Trashmore?
So no. So I trained
that way.
in Dismal Swamp, and let me tell you, it is the nastiest shit you've ever been in your life. Like I'm telling you,
it looks fishy though.
you walk in the Dismal Swamp and you got mud up to your waist, and you're like, dude, this sucks. Like 3 days I was in that motherfucker, and it was not a good time. But like now that I'm like a duck hunter, I could only imagine going back like, oh my god, the ducks are gonna land here and fall. Like, but when you're there in July and it's 100 degrees and mosquitoes are everywhere, I'm like, dude, this sucks. There's water above my waist all day long. Like, this sucks. I don't want to do this.
So,
but it does look super fishy. Like, it's actually a really cool place if you're not there for army training.
The name sounds like it sucks.
Matt, I heard you mention earlier about
It was named by George Washington. Fun fact.
about fishing the river. Are you fishing the James?
No, where I live is actually in Chesapeake. I'm right on the border of Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. My shop's in Norfolk, but I'm like 5 minutes from the Elizabeth River.
Okay.
And that's like my backyard, man. I can put in the water and be fishing in 20 minutes from the time I pull out of my driveway. So I do a lot of fishing in the Elizabeth River. And from where I'm at, I'm running like the southern branch, and I can run down to like downtown Norfolk area, and that opens right up into the ocean right there. So a lot of striper run up in there.
Yeah.
And most of the fish striped bass are my favorite species to target and eat. I fish for food most of the time. I got 3 kids, so they like to eat fish, and I like to have free food. So
Yeah, right.
I get a lot of drum. Speckled trout has been crazy this year, man. But yeah, those are the main 3 fish I target in the river. And then I like going out in the ocean too and fishing out there, but that's like an all-day thing, man. Sometimes I can't go all day. I can go for 3-4 hours. That's a quick hit in the river, but you go out in the ocean and you're talking about a whole day trip, man.
Do you have snakeheads down that way? Have you guys seen any of those northern
I never
snakeheads?
caught
that
one.
yesterday.
I've heard of some, but I've never caught one. I've heard of people catching them. They're not like abundant like they are around y'all's area.
They're loaded up here.
Dude, they're so good to eat.
we-
too,
they're
man.
We talked
absolutely
about that
loaded up
last
here.
night. They
Yeah.
got a couple questions on YouTube going on if you guys want to read them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've
absolutely.
been running through these. So Thomas is the guy who owns Project X, Thomas Roby. That's the boat I'm building now. But what did he say? Seeing him work in person is the only way to appreciate his value and quality. I appreciate that, Thomas. Thomas is a good dude. He's actually like a helicopter pilot for the Army. So he's got a badass job.
Now we're talking.
Here, easy. The smallest boat I've worked on was the 1436. It was the Yinton. I did one for Billy too. That I don't recommend. Those boats are not really boats, in my opinion. Those are meant to be put in the back of your pickup truck and fished in your granddaddy's lake, not taken out for tournaments. How do you decide what
That's for
direction
real.
and how far to take a boat? They're also different. It's from Tom. That's a good question. It basically comes down to budget. I mean, it's all going to come down to budget, unless it's just something that I want to do. And I'm like, I got this boat, I'm going to make this thing crazy. It comes down to budget and who's willing to put what into it. Because, I mean, let's be honest, nobody's going to work for free. I mean, I do a lot of extras in these builds and I eat a lot of labor just because I know stuff needs to happen and I want it to be.
You have pride in
next
your
level.
work.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm not just going to cut corners because, in the middle of the project, the customer says, hey, I'm maxed out on budget. It's like, especially doing YouTube and this stuff's in the front of the world. Yeah, I eat some labor, but that's just me putting in for the get out and the later return of it all. But,
Well, yeah, you put in
it really comes down to budget, man. I mean, I got some guys that walk in and they tell you, I don't care what it costs. And,
Make it happen.
20, 30 grand is nothing to them. Like, majority of people are like me, where they're like, yeah, I ain't got no money.
right.
Can we finance that out, man, over the next couple years, please?
Right.
I ain't pulling
I mean, I'm
30
paying for
grand
my
out my pocket.
I'm paying for my Skeeter for 20 years. So
Yeah.
It literally makes me think of like, first off, obviously I have a Ranger. It's a 19 AP, and he just crack balls and stuff like that. So it's like maybe it's like I should sell it and then maybe send a boat down to Matt. Just have Matt build me a boat. I could put freaking 15 or 20 into it and have something at half the cost of my Ranger that's probably going to crack at some point.
So I got a
You
good
had
question.
some hull issues when you first got it, didn't you? What was going on with it?
Bro, so I bought my first Ranger. It was a 2021 Ranger 19 AP. It had 13 hours on it. Something wasn't right with the motor. I was like, whatever. I'm mechanically inclined. I'll fix it. No big deal. I brought it home. I ran it. It was just wrong. Something was wrong with this boat. It would not plane out. It was like trying to submarine, like under the water.
That thing was
So, like,
like herd.
I went back to Ranger. They took it back. They sent me a brand new 2024 haul back. I got a brand new boat back. Did the same exact thing when it came back. Like, it was like submarining hard. So then I just like dug into it. I was like, there's no way there's like 2 boats that are just like lemons like this. And it just turns out that the people at Ranger are
Inept.
within the spectrum.
They are inept.
And they don't know how to set up their own boats. So I set up my boat to the way that a lot of other people have set it up. And I'm running 52 now. So I'm starting to think that there was nothing wrong with my original haul. They had set up the boat.
Looks like a
Well,
jack
so
plate.
so wait a minute. So
Wrong,
just to
like
expand,
jack
so
plate.
the motor has 4 mounting bolts.
They had the
on it.
motor
Yeah.
set too high.
They
They
had,
had
it
the
set
motor
too
set
high.
too high, and they had the jack plate set too high. I lowered the jack plate, and I lowered the motor all the way down on the jack plate, and it runs much better now.
That's after they replaced the hull.
That's after they replaced the hull.
Yeah.
so
So it's like a
Did you
win-win,
give the
but
old haul back?
no, it's like a win-win,
Yeah, they
but
did.
I had to make payments on a boat I
Matt-
didn't have for like 11 months before I got it back.
Matt wants the old hull to build a boat out of it. You already
Right.
know.
Yeah, I went and looked at one today. Actually, my buddy called me, and he works at the scrapyard, and they had a tracker in there. It was a 175 crappie, revolutionary welded hull too, and it was sitting there, no trailer or nothing. I went down there and looked at it. Dude only wanted $280 for it, and I would have picked it up in a heartbeat. It had the console, all the interior in it, and everything. No motor. It had a couple cracks in it, nothing I couldn't fix, but I got nowhere to put it, man. I'm on the move, and I got like 4 boats at the shop. I got no room for nothing, so I had to pass on it. But,
Yeah.
So it's now
yeah,
in a cube about this big.
man.
Right.
I
Unfortunately.
got 2 John boats now that I'm getting ready to list for sale, and I got a 20-foot trophy center console cuddy cabin that I got to sell that thing too. I got to get rid of some of these boats, get some money for this down payment. So
For the new house.
I'll be posting them up very shortly. Well, I got Tracker Grizzly 1648, on a brand new trailer, and a well-built 1552. That they're nice boats. I picked them up because I was gonna build them out for people, but I ain't got time to wait around to do that right now. So I got to move some of this stuff. But that's life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life moves fast.
Yeah.
And houses are expensive right now.
Yes.
Shit, you ain't telling me nothing.
Especially in Virginia Beach. You know
So,
it. Yeah.
are you staying local to Virginia Beach, or are you totally relocating?
Yeah, I'm moving next door, man. It's gonna be an easy move, but it's my parents' house. They're moving, and we're gonna move into their house. It's like 800 square foot bigger, and it's got a big detached 2-car garage with a fully furnished studio apartment above it, and it has an attached garage. So that's basically like a workshop. My dad had set up as his workshop. It's got its own 200 amp service out there, so I can run machines and stuff. So it's gonna be a huge step for me, and it will really help me with the side stuff with Trick Tens to have a shop in my backyard. It's like a real shop instead of just working in my garage,
Right.
So
I'm hyped about it.
is that the goal, to make that your full-time job, and get out of your regular day-to-day?
I mean, I'm already doing boats all day, every day. I mean, I still am involved in the company and talking to customers and, helping people. Majority of the stuff we do, we had like a big contract with AGI. It's architectural graphics. We're doing all of the steel frames for all the car dealership signs pretty much in the world. It's the biggest sign building company in the world. And it's right here in Virginia Beach. But we put all our eggs in one basket with them, and it kind of fell out. So now we're doing a lot of other stuff. But we do all like restaurant stuff, Wendy's, McDonald's. We do all Norfolk Public Schools, kitchens and stuff. And we do a lot of stainless work. And then we have a lot of walk-ins, just builders and custom stuff for, mom and pop restaurants, shops, just all types of just custom countertops and sinks and tables and just shit you can't go buy at the store that you got to get somebody to make for you. But in the midst of all that, I'm pretty much just doing boats and hatches all day and night. But I just need like a shop where I can shoot videos at home, because I usually have one boat build going on at the shop, and then I'll have one at home so I can work on nights and weekends and stuff like that, and make a little bit of side money. And eventually the company is going to be mine and my brother's, probably in the next 5 years, regardless. But every man needs to have his own, little tinker job shop in his backyard somewhere too.
Right. So,
sounds like
so the question
mine's got a work
is,
fleet right now.
so the question is, when do you sleep, or do you sleep? Do you not sleep?
That's a good question. I don't really sleep much, man. I mean, I got 3 kids, so it's like I gotta get that money now while I'm still able to work,
Yeah.
So
I don't know about your employees. Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead. But my employees at work, the guys that work for me, if I'm working on a boat all day, they would be like pissed. They'd be like, "Man, you make us do all this stuff, and you're working on boats the whole time."
They get jealous. They want to do certain stuff, but it's like, I mean, I don't really use. I work alone because it's got to be my way, and that's it. It's like I'm not going to spend my time coming behind somebody. Like every now and then, I'll get them to help me with certain things, but that's one thing about when I build a boat, start to finish. I do every piece of it, so I know exactly how the thing's set up. I know everything in there is right. I did all the metal work. I did the entire layout. I did all the wiring. I did all the plumbing. We're not missing any components or anything else. Like I know every piece of everything that went in there, and I did it myself, so I know exactly how it's put together and that it's done right. So that's definitely one thing that it kind of makes my builds different than a lot of other people, because there's a lot of other people building boats on YouTube and stuff, but these guys have like a whole team of people helping them do this stuff. They're buying all their products, all their metalwork stuff is being shipped to them. They get all their hatches, their live wells, and then they're just putting it together and they're just like installing this stuff. I'm doing the whole thing from scratch. Like we're starting with a blank canvas, and I'm going to have an idea of what we're going to do. All these tournament guys, they need a live well. They need rod locker storage. They need bait storage, yada, yada, yada. And then it's just kind of like, how am I going to make this one different? How far do I want to take this? What are we going to do with it? And then it's like a puzzle to me. I like putting it together, and I just make shit as I get to it. Like if I get to a spot where I'm like, oh, this is 28 1/8 of an inch. They don't make anything that fits in there, but we'll just make something that fits in there. And that's kind of where that's what it's about to me. It's fun.
It seems like,
dude, it's funny that you said that, because I literally went on a wild goose chase today looking for a caliper bolt for my. So I have a you have no idea. I went on so I have a 2000 Ranger 518. I had a caliper bolt breakout or wobble out or whatever, and looking for a caliper bolt. I went to 3 different places, wasted 4 hours of my time looking for a bolt that I didn't have. And on the way home, I'm like, dude, I would rather spend like 30 grand on metal machine tools to learn how to make my own shit than just not have to deal with this crap. Because
riding around looking for a boat.
Dude, the age of just going to get stuff, at your local dealer, that's gone. Like
I hate
you're not
going.
just going to get parts
Hey, Tony.
anymore. You have to order everything. Unless you have a guy like Matt that can just say, "Yeah, man, I got it. Like I got you. I'm gonna build it."
you know
that
that one of the members of Bass and Beer is a machinist, right?
There you go.
Oh yeah, Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Kevin built.
Still, but it's still.
Tony has exited the building.
So what?
It's so
What
frustrating.
I'm getting from what Matt is saying is, it seems like even if he let someone else do something on the boat, he would go back and be like, "Nah, I gotta tear it out and redo it."
Yeah, for sure.
He's that meticulous.
I can also see, like, you said you're comparing to like other boat builders that are on there, and they, like, with them having everything built and you doing it yourself, it seems like a lot of innovation can spawn from that too, because you can look at different ways to do things and come up with new ideas where they're just, like you said, they're just installing new stuff, that's being pre-made for them. So that really breeds a lot of innovation, which gives a uniqueness to your builds.
Hey, what's up,
Exactly.
Pete? Zachary asked, do you use 3D printers that make mock-ups?
I don't. That's one thing I've never really gotten into. My brother-in-law is a machinist. He owns a machine shop, and he's got a bunch of machinery and 3D printers, and he does all kinds of crazy stuff. But I don't know, man. It's not my thing. I ain't got time for that. I'm a metal guy. Not a plastic guy.
You do have some, I seen on your last video, like a jet, or what is that cuts out the aluminum? Like you put it in a computer and design it, and then it cut it out.
Yeah,
like
that's It's a plasma cutter, a plasma table, CNC plasma. It's cool and it works good. It's not like made for making intricate cutouts like in that graph bridge that he got from me, but that was made on a water jet table. That plasma table that we have, mainly we use for cutting steel. Like they'll cut up to 2-inch thick steel. So you can imagine if it's cutting 2-inch thick steel, it's probably not going to be as precise when you get down to the thin gauge aluminum. But I mean, it works. Eventually, I'm trying to get a laser table. The water jet table is just out of my league. I mean, that thing's like probably $1 million. So it's just not something I can get. The laser table's expensive. They're coming down, just like everything's coming. It's expensive when it first comes out, but I mean, you're still looking at like $250,000 to get a laser table easily. And then I want to get a CNC press brake. Like my machinery I have works. That table we've had for like 5 years. The rest of my machinery is from the 90s or older, and it still works. But I mean, we're coming up on 30, 40 years old now. Like we got to upgrade some machinery, and I think that will open some more doors for us too, having those newer machinery. Because I mean, that's where you hold your tolerances, and that's where you get the bigger contracts, the bigger jobs, and you can get more into manufacturing and mass producing parts. But
So do
being
you
a small
do
shop, we still keep the quality up.
do you do a lot of, so like around here, we have we have 3 giant reservoirs that are electric only, and some of the John boat builds around here are ridiculous. I mean, I'm talking guys 30-40 grand tied up into electric boat. Do you do a lot of electric builds in your area?
I'm doing one right now. I'm running a video series on my YouTube channel of that. And it's an 1860 low roughneck, and I thought it was gonna be a piece of crap when it first came in because it's like a gigantic boat full of carpet and wood. But dude had a big budget, and it's sick now. It just got wrapped, and it's got tons of LED lights in it. It's got 8 lithium batteries in it, and
Are you putting a torpedo on it?
you never even heard of this movie. You've never even heard of this outboard. It's called a Carbon, and it's from Germany. No, it's from Russia. It's a Russian motor. I
Really?
think it's crazy. It's all metal. It's kind of like a torpedo, but it's metal and it's black, and it's basically the equivalent of a 16 horsepower gas outboard.
Really? That's
I think a
awesome.
dude paid like $8,000 just for the actual outboard itself. So
Yeah, there's
it's
some.
insane. I mean, it ain't my cup of tea. I like to get in the boat and drop the hammer and haul ass. That's me.
Yeah.
But electric only is a whole different world. I fished an electric only tournament out of Neptune with SB. Couldn't use the outboard, and it sucks, man.
Right.
Yeah.
We have some.
10 miles
I
an
feel like
hour.
you can't
It's
go
hard to go outside.
Right.
We have some guys around here. These 3 reservoirs that we have. These guys get crazy. What was that motor that Vince put in his?
Pure watercraft?
Oh yeah, so it's a pure watercraft. It's an electric motor. It pushes his boat like 27 miles an hour.
Is it a stealth?
No,
That's a
pure,
pure
it's
wa-
called a
pure
pure
watercraft.
watercraft.
Okay. I'm
And
not familiar with that.
It's insane.
It's very new.
it's like
Extremely new.
It's like a $30,000 motor with the motor and the battery.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's insane,
It's insane.
how serious some of these guys get in, and these reservoirs, they're electric only, but the rules for using a boat on these reservoirs, you can only use them in those 3 reservoirs. So they're putting like 40-50 grand into a boat that they can only take on 3 lakes.
Yeah, and the crappy thing about that is that they might be able to go 30 miles an hour with that thing, but you get to the other side of the lake and then your battery's dead.
Yeah.
And what do you do then? You're gonna paddle back 5 miles or something? Like,
Right on the trolling
that's the
motor.
thing that kills me. Like the electric outboards have come a long way, but I feel like they still have a long way to go before they're actually affordable, and like the runtime on them is it's nothing. I mean, you run full speed for a lot of the motors are getting like 30 to 45 minute wide open runtime, and that's not very long, and you
Yeah.
got to consider that at the end of the day so you can get back to the ramp. I don't
Yeah.
want to have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think Vince said with that motor, he can run wide open for like just about an hour. So, 30 minutes one way and 30 minutes back. So you're running to one spot and running back, on one of these lakes from the launch to get to some of the better spots.
You could probably still consistently run at a higher speed than
for sure.
your other boats, but running wide open and then wide open back, like, unless it's like a special occasion, like you're going to this spot, this is where you're fishing, and this is where you're going back, like, it's not really worth it.
No.
Yeah,
I can't get into the whole electric scene.
I can't either. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong.
It's just so. First off, I probably could for myself, but the ramp hours at the reservoirs are just terrible. I want to be in the water much before they open, and I don't want to. I don't want to have to pull out.
Pretty Boy's fine.
Right.
You can watch a Pretty Boy like Dawn to Dark.
Well,
Yeah.
Loch Raven sucks.
Loch
Loch Raven sucks.
Loch Raven's garbage, and that's the home lake. So, and it's a good lake.
Pretty Boy's better. There's 7 to 8 pound smallmouth in Pretty Boy.
No question. No question at all.
All right,
Yeah, so-
guys. I hate to do it to you guys, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up, man. Y'all
No
got
worries.
any last minute questions or anything, or anything y'all want to touch on?
Let me check the chat here real quick. Make sure nobody has any questions. Go back to.
It's just fun though, man. I like doing stuff like this. I'd like to do this again, maybe every couple months or something if y'all are down.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be great.
100%.
No, this was great. We really
Tom-
appreciate you coming on.
Tom says, "Get back to work."
Right.
Yeah,
Rob,
as soon
we're
as
wrapping
Boat's
it
in my
up, brother.
garage, He wants to,
He wants you to get that
he wants
boat
to get
done.
his boat done. But,
So
That's
I guess
awesome.
my last question for you is, what if you had a 5-year goal for Trick Tins? What is it? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be?
What is this, a job interview?
No, maybe a little bit.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Right.
Well, I mean, the company, Professional Welding, is already established. The company is really doing, it's doing good. It's its own entity. Trick Tins is something that I kind of brought into it. I mean, obviously, I can't have Trick Tins without Professional Welding. So, I kind of hand in hand with both. So, I'm going to be inheriting the company, and that's going to be busy for me. But as far as Trick Tins goes, I like doing it. I mean, I'm hoping to sell the products, mass produce hatches, and different products for boats, graph bridges, cup holders, just random outside the box stuff that I put my little twist on, and just selling a lot of stuff like that. I'm still going to do bills and stuff because I enjoy it. And I'm really just trying to take this YouTube thing to the next level, because the YouTube, I got like a 5-year plan into YouTube. I'm 2.5 years in, and I'm hoping that by 5 years, I'll actually be able to make enough money to where it's worth it, because it's a lot of damn work right now, man.
It's a lot.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
really
Yes,
make
it
anything
is,
off
brother.
until you
It
get up
definitely
there.
is.
I'm not anywhere near. We appreciate you coming on so much. I started this podcast two years ago or something like that, and it is a every single day grind. Get off work, come home, try to think of content and stuff to make, and filming content out on the boat, filming weigh-ins, making sure everything is as correct as it can be for every single Friday night. It's a full-time job to do social media from any aspect of what you're doing. So I know what you're talking about, and it's tough. It's tough. The algorithms, everything is tough.
So Matt,
Yeah.
we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks a lot.
I can't. We can't thank you.
Awesome,
enough.
man. Super appreciate it.
I'm
fun,
gonna
man.
hit you
We'll do
up
it
tomorrow,
again.
Matt, about that hatch.
All right, yeah, follow me. In closing, I just want to say I appreciate you guys having me on. If anybody watching, you're interested in reaching out to me, you can follow me on any of the social media sites. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything. It's all Trick Tins across all platforms. I do appreciate if you guys go subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that helps me out. And the bigger I get, the more I give back to people. So it's a win-win street. If you guys want to get any products, you can check me out on tricktinsjohnboats.com. And I appreciate you guys. It's cool hanging out with y'all.
Hey, thanks again, man.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. We will catch you later.
Now everybody needs to
gotta
go
get back
binge
to work.
watch Matt's builds now.
Peace out.
Peace, man.
I'm definitely gonna go watch some.
Hell yeah,
That-
we are.
That's super interesting. Even though I'm not into the whole John boat scene, that's just not my thing. I find it the work and like the stuff that he was talking about. I find it really interesting.
It is. It's
His
incredibly
videos
interesting
are-
what he does.
His videos are really good, dude. Like if you don't watch him on YouTube, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check him out.
They are very, very good videos.
Yeah, he's not on. Well, he does very good quality work. I won't talk bad about other boat builders. So, but what else is in the news?
Scott Martin caught 30 pounds on Lake Okeechobee.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, but we should talk about it again because it's fucking
Oh,
awesome.
he didn't catch 30 pounds. He caught 30 pounds a day.
Yeah, true. He did it
was
3
like
times,
99.
not just once.
Well, no, he caught 30 twice.
He was right under.
He had 28 the other day.
two dirty 30s.
Two dirty 30s and a 28.
Is he okay? So like, I don't follow pro fishing, so I apologize. Is he like in the Elite Series again
Yeah.
this year?
Yes.
Yeah, he requalified
So-
for the elites.
so
he fished the Open
Just because
it's
he
on
was right
Okeechobee.
there?
It's on
Well,
Okeechobee
no,
for his
but
home lake.
here's the really cool part. Like I don't know if you guys know this, but he didn't make the Classic this year. He missed it by one spot, so he's the last person out of the Classic. So he won.
Dude, like-
guess who the first person in the next Classic is? That's already qualified for it.
He's
Logan
the first
Parks?
Scott
no.
Martin.
He's
for
the
winning
first
that
person to
Open.
qualify for next
He
year's
was the
Classic.
last person out last year and the first person in this year
Because he won the Open.
because he won the Open.
So like, here's my thing. Like, I'll never, dude. I swear to God. Like, so I've met Scott. I've talked to him. Really nice guy. I've talked to Roland. Super nice guy. Like, when he went from FLW to Bassmaster, everyone was like, dude, he's from FLW. He's not that good. I was like, dude, bullshit. This guy. That's what I'm saying.
His daughter's killing it.
Hasn't he won the Forest World Cup? He's won it like twice.
Once.
He won 2011 Forest World Cup.
Yeah.
So like when everyone was like, "Oh, the Bassmaster Elite Series is like so much better than the FLW Tour,"
on
like,
Lake Ouachita.
dude, how many like the amount of guys that are absolutely unbelievable that have come from the FLW Tour? Wheeler came from FLW.
Hey, like and share this video,
Right?
boys. Let's get some more
Second place,
people in
Randall
here.
Tharp, I think. If I remember
I think so,
correctly.
yeah.
So like so Randall Tharp, FLW, Jason Lambert, FLW, Scott Martin, FLW,
Brian Thrift, man.
Jacob Wheeler, FLW.
Most of those guys have
Like,
sort of
2015? What was-
Otdefo, all those guys fished FLW.
Danny Brower fished that
Kevin Van Dam
for a
fished.
while.
Kevin Van Dam fished FLW.
Like, I
Well,
think it's
if you go
ridiculous
back
to
to-
say FLW was not as competitive as Bass Elite. If anything, I thought when it was around, the FLW Tour did a better job of filming and covering their tournaments than the Bass Elite Series.
See,
No,
Tony
I don't think so.
doesn't-
I don't think that.
I disagree.
Nah,
But
Elites was always better than FLW.
if you-
I
if you look
I
at-
disagree.
If you
completely.
and this may be before you really got into
they had better
like
payouts
bass
than they had
fishing.
Walmart back in them.
So, but back in the early 2000s, when they actually had, didn't have scheduling conflicts, a lot of the elite guys fished the FLW and the the elites.
right.
So like Ishman Rowe fished both. Kevin Van Dam fished both.
Ishmael
Kevin
Rowe
Van Dam
was a monster.
Kevin Van Dam's won Angler of the Year on FLW.
Major League Fishing started like that too. They were fishing the elites and they were doing that. Major League Fishing was really cool at that time. That's when they didn't know where they were going.
Back when they
Before
had
the
just
Bass Pro Tour.
when they just had
Yeah.
the TV show and
Yeah.
they had the coolest format. I will
effed
give
it all up.
I will give them this. But prior to the Bass Pro Tour, they had the coolest tournament format ever. They didn't know where they were going.
It was so cool.
Until the morning of the tournament. They got a 30-minute ride around where they could ride around the lake and try to figure out what they were doing, and then they just told them to go fish.
And they were going,
and it was awesome.
And they were going to like different places, like you never heard of, or
Oh yeah, they beat a lot of small lakes.
They should have left it like that, man. It was
That
much
was
better.
so cool.
What was Jacob Wheeler 2015 Forest Wood Cup?
Yeah,
2015,
something
I
like
think.
that.
I think. Who?
But there's a lot of these guys that are Justin Atkins, who's on the Elite Series now, who's struggled. He has struggled on the Elite Series. He was Forest Wood Cup champion.
Yeah.
These FLW guys.
Who was the very last Forest Wood Cup champion?
Brian Thrift.
There you go, yes, sir. Brian Thrift. He's fishing.
I know my bass fishing trivia.
I was going to ask Tony because I know he doesn't know. I knew you would know.
Whoa, ask me. Go ahead.
Who won the last Forest Wood Cup?
Forest Wood Cup. 'Cause
Like
you know there's
the
no
last
Forest
one
Wood
ever.
Cup no
Since
more.
there's no more Forest Wood Cup. The last
He
Forest Wood
fishes
Cup
Major
ever.
League Fishing.
Brian
Yeah.
Thrift.
Yeah.
Did you hear me say that?
No, it's
probably
just
did.
a really good guess.
That
Yeah,
was-
Because
His
Brian
podcast?
Thrift was like one of the best FLW anglers ever.
Brian Thrift is one of the best anglers in the world.
He's
Oh, yeah.
got, you know he's got a podcast, right? Him
So,
and Matt
so
Mayer.
Brian
listen
Thrift
to
and
a
a
lot.
buzzbait was
Let's talk
okay.
fish.
So Brian Thrift was one of the first ever to like put the chatterbait on the scene.
No, well, yes.
Yes,
But
He tried to keep it under wraps for a
He didn't
long
want to
time.
tell nobody. He had it, and then it.
exactly.
Yeah, and
So
then finally the
it was-
people that made it was like, "Come on, man!
There were-
You keep winning all these tournaments on our bait.
So the
Can
people
you tell people so that we can sell some?"
Yeah.
there were actually two people that did
Andy,
that. The other one was Andy Montgomery.
Yes.
Yeah, Andy Montgomery.
So
Both
Andy
were
Mc-
FLW, by the way.
Andy
Yeah,
Montgomery.
they're
Andy-
North Carolina guys. They
by the
live-
way, Andy Montgomery, one of the funniest dudes that you'll ever like. If you don't follow his social media, he is
Dude,
hilarious.
did you hear that story he told about when his friend knocked his teeth out?
He's
That
also-
shit is hilarious, dude.
He's also incredibly smart.
And a good, very
He
good. actor.
he has a degree in like it's something like nuclear engineering or something. He is incredibly smart. Sounds redneck as all get out, but he's incredibly smart.
He's got another funny story too, where him and Brian Thrift was out fishing, and he said they was going down the bank, and then he told Brian Thrift, he was like, "I just saw a monkey on the bank." He was like, so we doubled back, and it was a cat walking around, standing on his back legs, like.
I remember hearing about that. Do you remember when they were at the St. John's River a couple of years ago, and John Cox was on stage talking about hearing the monkeys?
Yeah.
And Dave Mercer just he's like, the monkeys? He's like, yeah. It was like nothing to him, and it like.
Are there wild monkeys in Florida? Is that a thing?
John Cox.
Really? That's a thing?
John
For
Cox
real?
had
Yes.
he had his own scent at one time, and it was called.
Wait a minute. I
Mom's
cannot
piss.
get over.
Cox juice.
I cannot get over.
It's called Cox juice.
Nice. I cannot get over the fact that we live in a society, and part of our established union, there is wild monkeys in our
they're-
wilderness.
Well, they're invasive
them for
species,
bait.
just like half the things in Florida.
Yeah, true, including the people. But anyway,
Yes, they are an invasive species.
so but there's actually wild monkeys in Florida.
Yep.
I can't get over this.
Can
right
you
now.
imagine fishing and like there's
just
a
a
monkey
monkey.
like climbing around?
It's
It's like,
It's
like
not
you
that
get
big a
hit in the
deal.
face with shit because it's a monkey just throwing it.
Steal
Like,
your fishing rod.
dude, that's crazy.
Those are chimpanzees. That are.
Do they wear-
But monkeys don't throw poop. Like it's just
not really.
chimps. Like, whoa a minute.
That's a chimpanzee thing.
Really?
And
Are
they're
these
apes.
Cinco de
They are
Mayo
apes,
monkeys?
not monkeys.
Do they wear sombreros?
Dude, there's so many things are happening in my head right now. There's apes and monkeys and gorillas.
No,
What
gorillas-
lives in Florida?
Gorillas are apes.
Jason
Gorillas
would
are
know.
apes. Chimps are apes.
I don't know where Jason Stevens is at, but he would know. That dude knows everything about
He-
Florida.
Jason, what lives in Florida? Monkeys, apes, or gorillas? Question.
They're
he blew
monkeys.
up
They're not apes.
Jason spent his childhood living in the
Apes.
Everglades.
By the way, anything in the ape family will mess your day up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like
Alright.
they will rip your arms off and beat you with them.
I take that challenge.
You will lose. 100%.
But I'm going to
You'll
fight.
get beat with your own arms.
You will lose.
So who wins, Dana White or a random chimp?
Random chimp all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Paul didn't even have to think
Yeah.
about it.
For real?
I
yeah.
would.
He didn't even hesitate with that answer.
Yeah,
I would
dude.
say-
No, dude, fully.
You could. You're just talking about Dana White. You could put a chimp against a full-fledged UFC champion, and the chimp's gonna win.
You could put a chimp. You could put a chimp against 2 or 3 people. It's gonna win.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Dude, go watch one
We'll get
video
one
of
for a bodyguard.
chimpanzees fucking somebody up.
Riverboat
Tell me,
Robs do
like,
bodyguard.
This is why on the third day, God created the Remington bolt action rifle.
a chimp versus a rifle.
Yeah.
Now the better question
I've seen
is,
Tarzan. The
Chimp
rifle
wins.
wins every time.
I think a
wins.
chimp could
No.
shoot it back at you if you
Have you ever seen Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Which there's like wait a minute. So we all
Not
saw
the
the
Charlton.
we all saw the Super Bowl commercial, right? Kingdom of the Planet of the Dude, garbage, absolute crap.
I like the one
What
with
do you mean?
James Franco.
The new ones are pretty good.
They
The
suck.
one with
They're not
James
bad.
Franco. But
They're pretty good.
yeah,
the
I like that
original
one.
Planet of the Apes freaked me out as a child.
But the
I
old
can't
ones was
stand them.
real creepy.
Like, come on, bro.
Can't stand them.
yeah, the old
Can't stand 'em.
the old ones are real creepy.
I
So-
can't stand them. Anyway,
So anyway, back to fishing.
All I do is watch fishing. That's all I do.
all
so
I really-
so
really
you're in
like.
Florida flipping a beaver and a chimp throws shit at you. Go.
There's no chimps in Florida.
Here we go.
They're spider monkeys.
Monkeys.
Apparently they're apes, according to Paul.
No, there's no silverback gorillas.
Chimps are apes.
That's what Paul said.
No, I just told you, chimps are apes, gorillas are apes. We're talking about monkeys. So easiest way to tell, monkeys have tails. Monkeys have tails.
And they're like a
So
lot
what
smaller,
throws poop
right?
at you?
How
Chimps.
uneducated are you?
Very, apparently.
Monkeys
Just
have
Cinco
tails.
de Mayo monkeys.
Apes do not.
Yeah. Chimps
Easiest way
throw
to tell.
poop at each other. Monkeys do not do that.
I don't know. I've seen these monkeys at the zoo, and they definitely threw some shit at the glass.
Now, they will.
See, thank you.
Now, I've definitely been at the zoo and watched the monkeys just randomly beaten off.
Dude, one had a milk crate.
Okay, look, we
And
got
he
we got
he
two flags back to back there. That's great.
He
Did we really?
swung.
No, for real?
Well, I'm putting the flags there because I have to mark this because this is just comical.
One, look. At
Why
the
are we
zoo-
talking about monkeys doing sexual things right now?
Because it's important to know.
So,
One had a milk crate, and the other monkeys wanted it, and he like went up in the tree, and he like put it on like a hat. and was
All
sitting in
it
the
took
tree.
was Matt to sign off for this to go right down the toilet bowl.
Listen, dude. So the
we
monkey.
started with fishing.
We're still talking about monkeys.
It's all John Cox's fault.
The monkey
awesome.
swings. The monkey swings on the vine.
I can't even put this on YouTube
And he goes,
anymore.
Sure you can.
"Dad,
This is
monkey."
great.
And he like holds the crate out, and when you try to grab it, you put it back on his head, dude. It's like teasing him with it.
You want the nanner?
So
My
anyway,
crate.
anyway,
What the fuck?
we got
God damn it! You guys did this.
a couple tournaments going on right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apes only.
So
Bassmasters.
we have the Bassmaster
Toledo
Open.
Bend?
Well, we have the Bassmaster going on right now. We have the Bassmaster Open on Washita. So if you get snowed in tomorrow, catch the top 10. On
Don't even
Bass
say
Live.
that, dude. I have to drive the Dave's boat trailer in the
And
morning.
if you
I might go fishing.
the Toyota series on Gunnersville just wrapped up, and those boys smashed them. There was I heard a stat that there were like 37 bags over 20 pounds or something on the first day.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Forward
it
facing
just
sonar.
no, they're throwing traps. I mean, they're catching some on forward facing sonar, but they're catching a lot of fish shallow because the water's real dirty.
Where are they fishing at?
Gunnersville.
Which is what, Alabama? Or Lake Gunnersville is where? Trying to figure out if they're like on bed yet or not there.
No, they are not. They are pre-spawn set up. It was a pretty hardcore trap bite and chatterbaits and yeah, it was from what I understand. But those
People
boys
sleep.
smashed.
People sleep on a rattle trap. I throw a rattle trap a lot more than people know, and
Nobody sleeps with a rattle trap.
more than I care to talk.
I don't throw a rattle trap ever.
You
Me
should,
neither.
No,
but not a rattle trap.
I don't ever want to throw one.
We
You should
like the
throw a
spot.
lipless crankbait.
You like the Cordell spot.
Yes.
No,
Rattle
You
trap.
should.
Bill Lewis rattle trap.
Do you like catching big fish?
no,
Oh, okay. Then
I think
continue.
he's.
Dude, I only
Being
catch the
sarcastic.
biggest 1.5 pounders on glide bait.
Hey, can we announce next week's guest? Because I mean,
Who do we have
as far
next
as-
week?
We got the one. The only, I'm gonna let Chad. Do
I
it,
don't
'cause-
want to announce it right now.
You don't want to announce it?
No.
Okay.
We don't have enough people watching to announce it right now.
Yeah. Well,
And
people
it's
rewatch
a
it.
it's a pretty big announcement. Well,
It's a huge announcement.
not many people rewatch 2 hours into it, but
It's-
some people do.
It's such a secret. I don't even know.
You know.
I probably do. I just
You know.
forgot.
Paul don't read the text.
But,
Like, you
You.
text, like I text, like, guess who we got? Guess who's coming on? And Paul's like, you guys think I should do this to my boat or that?
We're-
I'm like, Paul, did you read the text? Like, David Fritz is coming on the show, dude.
What's up, Kyle?
I don't get that
That's
excited.
So,
not next week's guest.
guys, we're getting ready to wrap this thing up right here. We are not giving it up right now, Dan, but we have somebody that is a icon in the swim bait industry
Hey, Dan.
Oh, right.
that is
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah.
join into the show February 23rd, and we are super stoked about this. Personally, our director Rob set this up.
It's Riverboat
And
Rob.
it's Riverboat
That's
Rob.
Robbie Riverboat.
It's Riverboat Rob. Dude, I'll be down. I'd be down, dude. I'm down
It
to
is
have.
not Victor Depp.
It's not Victor Depp, but I would be down to have Victor Depp on if he ever wanted to come on here.
He's got a little bit bigger name than Victor does right now. I'm
But
sure Victor would like
he's
to
got a
watch
little
the show.
bit. So We're very pumped to have him on the show. He's a big name in swim baits. He's helped develop a lot of baits. He's a very, very talkative and energetic person to talk to.
Is it Rob Turkle?
I'll give a hint. He's an iconic swim
I heard
bait
Rob
designer.
Turkle designed the best swim bait.
He who invented the bull shad.
Oh, you done gave it up now.
No,
Tony,
Yeah.
don't talk. Just stop talking.
not everyone knows it. I didn't know it.
Okay, so Mike Buca's coming on the show next week.
The creator
We
of
might
the
as well
bull,
just give it up because he said bullshit. It's just like you.
legendary bait maker Mike Buca, the creator of the bull shad, is going to be our guest next week.
Yep.
I can't wait. And he also told me that he had something to do with the triple trout as well. So
Yep. So Mike Buca coming on the show
Also
next week.
creator of the Trick Shad, which Chad owns.
Yep. Maker of the trick shad,
iconic bait
the
builder.
bull shad, the 4x4. Dude, he's got several other baits on the market that are just. They range from everybody that wants to get involved with swim baits to people that want to throw swim baits at an expert level. He's got something for everybody. The bull rat. Okay, so he's got the Mike Buca, the bull shad. The bull rat is one of those rats that you can get on the market for that $60 or $70 range that just flat out catches fish in a rat platform. Before you mark yourself up to some of those bigger wooden rats and cast rats that are putting you into that $150, $200 range. But Mike Buca has baits all the way through the spectrum for people from beginners.
Not the same
all the
spectrum
way to
I'm
experts.
on. But anyway,
Yeah, not the same spectrums Tony's on for giving away the surprise. But yeah,
So we don't really have to say how great his baits are because you already know that. But like when I look at Mike Buca's baits, you could tell that they're made to catch fish.
They did a.
They're not
Oh, yeah.
made to catch fishermen's
I wish I
eyes.
had one up here right now because I'd be
They-
putting it in the camera. It's my most beautiful bait. It's my
They're already known as one of the
I
best
will say
fish
that
catching baits there is. But
one of my
I mean,
favorite baits that I've never thrown is one of my bull shad burrito collabs. Burrito
yeah, he
salsa.
did.
It's,
Yeah, he
that the soft
collaborated
plastic,
with-
the burrito soft plastic is.
And we're
it's a
not talking
phenomenal
about that
bait.
fake bull
Good
shad that
pattern.
catch
I need to
boat
throw
puts
that.
out. We're talking a
You
real
do.
white
You
bull
actually. You
shad.
really do.
I've never even tied it on.
You really do need to throw that.
He did
Number
collab
one,
with
because
Burrito.
I actually have not thrown one, and I really want to. So, actually, you want to sell it to me?
I'll sell it to you. It's brand new.
All right.
Never even been tied on.
All right, I'll buy it.
Dude, he told me some stories. I don't want to get into the stories he told
So
me.
you
I'll
already-
tell these guys off the air.
Chad's gonna owe me like his boat by the time that he ends up getting all this stuff from me.
Chad
Every
will,
time I mention
Chad,
something,
Chad will,
What's that?
Chad will take a second mortgage out for swim baits.
$150.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
$125.
Chad will take a second mortgage for swim baits.
the life vest.
$125. $50 for the boxes. $75 for the life vest. I think I told you $75 for the life vest.
I thought
If
it
I
was
didn't.
100, but
It
either
might have been
or.
100, but also it's 75. It's fine.
Okay. Anyways,
so anyway,
we're,
as
wrap-
me-
we're wrapping this thing up, everybody.
Riverboat Rob, if you have not already, please.
do you have that
So-
now?
River,
Because we're going to Susquehanna Fishing Tackle tomorrow.
I
Flip,
can tomorrow.
flip around and find out.
Spending money. Flip around and
and
are you
find
wearing
out.
it?
Yeah.
We're
Yes,
out of here,
I love that.
everybody.